Hello, we are happy to present our ADR Manager to you. This tool consists of a web-based graphical user interface specifically designed to manage architectural decision records. We are a team of 3 students studying computer science at the University of Stuttgart. I am Manuel and my 2 partners were Katrin and Daniel. Together, we develop a tool to manage architectural decision records. An architectural decision is a software design choice. This may, for example, be a selected programming language, choice of IDE, or an architectural style. An architectural decision record is a file which captures a single architectural decision. Our project focuses on a template called Markdown Architectural Decision Records, or in short, MADR. MADR is a Markdown template for architectural decision records. Particularly, it defines the layout and headings within an architectural decision record and the naming scheme of the Markdown file. In order to get started with the project, the requirements had to be determined. First of all, the tool should allow the user to connect and authenticate with GitHub. From there, the user can add his own repository, create new ADRs, edit or delete them. Another requirement was support for switching repositories and adding multiple repositories. Finally, the most important requirement was the support for MADR as a template. To get an idea of how the tool looks like and how we implemented the requirement, let's have a look at the tool itself.
As a prerequisite for using the manager, of course, you need a GitHub account with repositories in which you want to create, edit, and delete ADRs. We access the ADR-Manager via the browser. The first thing you will see is the landing page. To get to the editor, the manager first needs authorization to access your repositories. Now you can add the desired repositories. On the left side, you have an overview of the repositories and the ADRs they contain. In the repository pane, you can create a new ADR. On the right side is the editor with the open ADR. At the top, you can select different editor modes. Basic, which only shows the required fields, Advanced, which shows more fields, and Professional, which shows all fields. This allows you to select the mode that suits you best. If you are not familiar with the meta template, this is no problem. The small question marks explain directly what belongs in the next line. Now you can start documenting the ADR. First, you can fill in the title. As you can see on the left side, the name of the file was automatically updated. The next fields are for the date, the status of the ADR, as well as the deciders. After this basic information, you can fill in the context and problem statement. In the next section, you can list the decision drivers. The editor automatically expands the list when new items are added. That way, you do not need to worry about the Markdown syntax. Let's continue with adding the considered options. For each option, you can add a more detailed description as well as advantages and disadvantages. For a better overview, you can collapse and thereby hide these details. If you are unhappy about the ordering of the options, you can just drag and drop them. Now let's fill in the decision outcome. First, you can select the chosen option. The selected option is also highlighted in the Considered Options section. Lastly, you can give a more detailed explanation for the decision outcome. If you are familiar with the template and prefer to write in Markdown, this is also possible. Just switch to the Raw Markdown tab and continue editing there. However, if you do not follow the conventions, this will be filtered out by the parser in the Convert tab. As you can see, the added word something are removed because a list is expected there. To get a better overview of the ADR, you can display the Markdown preview. As it looks here, it will be pushed to GitHub at the end. After you are done with the input, you can push everything to GitHub. For this, you can click on the button to get to the commit and push window, select the desired files, and enter a commit message. Now we want to edit another branch. You can switch the branch with the menu at the bottom right. The files in the active repository changed as we switched the branch. Let's delete the ADR of this branch. Press the button here once and then confirm. However, the ADR is now only deleted locally and must then be pushed to GitHub again.
Now that you have seen the resulting product, let's have a look on how we organized the development. Due to the few members at our disposal and the short time available, good project management was required. Firstly, we used GitHub to host our project and plan the development process. Requirements and other tasks were documented as GitHub issues. We opted for a Scrum-like agile development process with a sprint length of 2 weeks. We used the project board of the GitHub repository as sprint backlog. This allowed us to split tasks efficiently and organize sprint backlogs to fulfill each requirement. In weekly meetings, we reviewed the progress made in the last week and set the sprint goal of the upcoming week. For us, it was important to be sure that our tool worked correctly. To ensure this, we implemented an end-to-end test for each requirement that covered the correct functionality. This way, we can be sure that the minimal requirements needed for this project are working correctly. To check whether the parser is working correctly, we created an automated empirical analysis. For this, we analyzed 4 repositories with a total of 42 ADRs. Often, there were only minor parsing problems caused by small inconsistencies with the template, but these could easily be fixed in the editor. Additionally, we performed a user-based evaluation. We asked 9 software professionals to try out the tool in a think aloud study and give their first impression. In general, we received much positive feedback with a few minor suggestions on the understandability of the interface. Through the study, we are able to gather a lot of feedback and new future requests. We have gained a new perspective on what the client is still missing and have already created new issues on our GitHub board. You can see some examples of suggested functionalities on this slide. One of the most requested functionalities was the possibility to insert a graphic or a picture into the ADR, as well as better support for copy-pasting Markdown lists into the editor. To support team discussions, some participants suggested a voting function for the decision outcome. Additionally, some participants would have preferred the ADR-Manager as an IDE plugin instead of a website, or requested support for other platforms like GitLab. At the beginning, it was a challenge to work in a small team under time pressure. However, from sprint to sprint, the team got more and more experience. The most important thing we have learned is communication and teamwork. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.